This is a hotel in the heart of Times Square in Midtown Manhattan. We've been hired to re-grout an existing kitchen floor using our Marcoat ES. We're going to do a walkthrough of the entire kitchen. It's about 3,000 square feet in total. Today we're going to focus on today and tomorrow, the soup kettle line right here. And then after this, we're going to be focusing on the rest of the kitchen, the cook line, and all the other areas. Just to give you an idea of the scope of the kitchen, it's fairly large. You see the cook line, the mats will come up, and then this entire area also. Okay, in certain areas of the kitchen, the grout has disintegrated and they're getting violations from the health department. You can see here from the video how much the grout has disintegrated, at least to half the thickness of the tile. This is our grout removal tuck point machine. It's got a diamond blade, it's got rollers, it's got a hose hooked up to a vacuum, so there's no dust whatsoever during the process. We're going to have two machines running simultaneously, and what they'll do is they'll cut out all the grout in this entire area. It's about 500 square feet, and once the grout is all cut out, we're going to start the process of the grout installation. We're going to watch him cut the grout out now, see how the machine works. We have the ability with this machine to put in different blades, different thicknesses for different grout joint widths. And we also have the ability to set the depth of the cut down to 1.5 inches up to a 1/4 inch. So he's putting in a new blade right now, fresh blade. You can see the difference in the blades, how one is the brand new one as opposed to the older one. Very easy and fast to replace the blades. We're removing the dust now. We're going to get ready to show you how we install one of our epoxies. We're going to show you now how we prep the grout joints to install one of our epoxies. This epoxy we use on new installations. It's got the viscosity of peanut butter. And what we'll do is we cut out the grout in one joint day one. The next day we're going to go in the opposite direction, day 2. This way we get a nice, smooth, even finish. Taping may seem like it takes a long time, but it's relatively quick. There's no cleanup, no mess whatsoever on the tile like a traditional epoxy that has a sand mixture in it and you float it in. We inject the epoxy directly into the joint, which you'll see, and we smooth it with a margin trowel. We peel up the tape. 2 hours later, 3 hours later, depending upon floor temperature, room temperature, the epoxy is cured and ready for service. This is our wall grout. We say wall grout because the viscosity is such that it can be used on verticals if necessary. It's a 2-part. It's a 900 ml cartridge, resin on one side, the colored hardener on the other. What we do is we load it into the caulking gun. We screw on the static mixing cap. It's an air-operated caulking gun, small compressor. Material will come out through here, out here, ready to go, totally mixed. And we shoot a bead in there like this on day 1. Then we'll float it, peel up the tape, and tomorrow we come back and we'll cut the grout out in this direction, put the tape in that direction, and do the same process, and we'll go right across. A small 5-gallon compressor, 135 psi, is adequate for a job like this. You can see the caulk now. It's coming through here. It's getting mixed spiral. Part A and Part B are mixing. We shoot a little bit out the end so we know it's thoroughly mixed. Drop it right into a bag, a piece of paper, and now that's fully mixed. Next part is to squirt a bead into the joint. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this float and we're going to press the material down in. We're not going to do the entire line, no need to. We're just going to show you the process. With this taping process, there's no waste whatsoever of the material. We pull up the tape and we let the material cure. This has been designed to cure 2 to 3 hours, ready to serve, ready back in service. So then tomorrow we come back, we cut the grout in the opposite direction. We'll cut right across this joint. We'll run the tape in this direction, and we'll be cutting this way and then running the material that way. So we have a nice, even, flush, uniform line. What we're going to do now, we have our other version of Marcoat ES, this designed for renovation, retrofit, where there's existing grout. We're going to cut it out and use a self-leveling material. So we've already cut the grout out of one direction. Now we're going to cut it out in the opposite direction. This is our two-part self-leveling ES epoxy. It's got the viscosity halfway between peanut butter and honey at room temperature. It's designed to be injected in, self-leveled, 2 to 3 hours, full cure. This comes in a 450 ml cartridge side by side, resin on one side, colored hardener on the other. It goes into a manual, hand-operated caulking gun. Again, the mixing tube goes on, material comes out, it's coming through, it's getting mixed as it goes, it comes out. And this material is designed for, again, if we're doing an existing restaurant where we're cutting out the grout, to go and cut out in both directions, inject the Marcoat, self-level, and there's no traditional floating and cleaning up the excess. Goes in, self-levels, stays there, cures 2 to 3 hours, ready for use. This is another kitchen in this hotel in Midtown in Times Square. We re-grouted the entire kitchen during the summer. Had existing sanded grout, which was dirty. We cut out the old and put in new epoxy grout. We did the entire kitchen, and this is part of the cook line. And what they've done is they put some mats down on the cook line so people don't slip and fall. But you can see the condition of the grout. It's like brand new, and it'll stay like this for 20 plus years, guaranteed. What happens is you get dirt and grease, and simple water cleans the grout back to almost like new. It's just dirt buildup. That's the beauty of this epoxy. If a grout gets dirty, you can scrub it, clean it, power wash it, comes back to like new time after time. It's just another area, just to show you, it is grease and dirt that builds up. Unlike other traditional epoxy grouts that are mixed with sand, you could never do this and clean out the grout. This has a smooth, even finish. Like new once again. Okay, so this is the rest of the kitchen we did in the summertime. You can see all the grout, same color, it's light chocolate they chose to match these tiles. And again, you'll see some of the areas where the grout is dirty, but you've seen before, it's very easily cleaned. We also did down by the entire dishwashing area. We expect this epoxy to last 10, 20 years. No physical breakdown due to cleaning chemicals, power washing, oleic acid, food acid, etc. Grout comes back looking like brand new. Strongest grout, epoxy grout that's on the market. This is a steakhouse in Times Square. This steakhouse is part of a national chain, and it's the highest grossing volume steakhouse in this national chain. We did this kitchen floor about 4.5 years ago with our Marcoat ES epoxy. Kitchen was about 2,000 square feet. We did it in the course of a week. While the restaurant was operating, we came in at night, cut out the grout, and by 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, it was good for service. No masonite boards were down. Material was properly cured overnight. And as you can see, no physical breakdown whatsoever of the grout. Here's another hallway. And we also did the chef's executive office. Different color tile. Same result though. Same epoxy grout. Chef's very happy.